Good evening, friends. Trump is back again. I mean, not just in White House, in action. And he's driving nuts. Few different countries. Canada is one of them. Mexico is another. China is in a different ballgame, so we will come to that China part as well. So uh, he addressed the Congress yesterday. I think yesterday, yeah, yesterday, and he pointed out few different things. So one big thing is the tariff. Another big thing is the Ukraine-Russia war. Let's go with this video, and maybe I'll just give my comments in between wherever I get a chance, and its impact on India, China, Pakistan, Europe. Europe is a big one. Um, Position of Canada that I can see from here. Position of China that they want to show to US. We will discuss all of them one by one. So let's start.
I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions.
So he was giving this lecture. So he started with this Russia-Ukraine war after some other few points, right? Um, Russia-Ukraine war, it's all 3 years, more than 3 years, but it's been a long time, right? Anyways, it's a bad situation everywhere. It's bad for Ukraine, obviously. It's bad for Russia. It was bad for US as well because they invested so much money, right? Because that money comes from somewhere. I mean, it's not that big companies are paying anything, right? That's a taxpayer money. It comes from somewhere, from our pocket at the end, right? So nobody was winning that war. And this guy is a businessman. He comes up with some ideas, business ideas, what makes more sense to a business, right? So he's not our ongoing politician. So what happened last government, right? So Biden wanted to make Russia weak. And that's why he invested money in Ukraine, saying that, okay, we are giving money to Ukraine, and Ukraine will keep on fighting with Russian army, and Russia will deplete its inventory of missiles and everything. That was his idea. I mean, it did obviously work at some point of time if that is the goal, right? But I think Trump comes up with a different set of goals in his mind. So obviously his goal is not to kind of deplete Russia or to achieve something out of that war. So first thing that he was doing is stop um, giving money to Ukraine. But my point of view about Ukraine is the biggest loser on this whole Ukraine-Russia war is the Ukraine general public. Nobody lost more than them, right? Nobody. US didn't lose anything. They just lost some money. Their livelihood was not dependent on that, right? On that war. They lost money, fine. They donated money and everything. Maybe they will gain something back with those treaties and everything, right? Minerals that we got some news on that one as well, that US wanted some 50% mineral from Ukraine, everything. Russia lost men and firepower, but Russia is big. You cannot empty Russia that quickly, right? So it's not easy. So that is one. Putin, he didn't lost anything. I mean, he is powerful. He's still very powerful. Maybe over the next 5 years, he will come out as even more bigger, powerful as a world leader than he was before this Ukraine war, because of whatever circumstances are there around him. Europe, they didn't lose any single penny, right? I mean, not penny wise, they didn't lose anything real of real value. They didn't lost any men. They just gave money that was coming from US via Europe, and they are just giving that money to Ukraine, or money or whatever, right? So arms and ammunitions, right? So they haven't lost anything. They were still buying those Russian oil either via India, or they're just buying natural gas from Russia, even at the time of high of the war, right? So they were still buying Russian oil via India, via China, or something else, and they were still buying natural gas. So that's pretty bad what Europe has done to Ukraine, honestly. Ukraine President Zelensky, he didn't lose much, right? He's still alive at least. So he didn't lose his life, obviously. And for his, I'd call it alter ego, for his foolishness, for his foolishness of becoming more powerful or got into the played into the hands of US. He didn't lose much. Now he is, I think few days back he had a kind of very verbal abusively verbal argument with Donald Trump, and now I think he's saying that he wants to have peace. That guy has no idea about politics, or at least geopolitics, like what to do. Maybe because it looks like they are very good friends. Yeah. Anyways, uh, so Zelensky, I don't know. You're not gonna go and talk to Trump like that and expect some good results out of that discussion, honestly. His advisor should have actually advised him in that front that okay, don't go and say things like those to on Trump's face, right? He will not accept them. He will come back harder on you. That's what he did. And again, Ukraine is in no position, even if it is right. Ukraine, maybe it was on not even right. It was Ukraine's own responsibility, Ukraine's leader's own responsibility to protect his own country, not to play as a puppet on US politics, US Russia politics, right? So he missed that. Whatever Russia did was not good, but again, the way he handled the situation was even worse for the Ukrainian public. So the biggest loser in this whole 3 years destruction that happened in that region, right, is the Ukrainian public. Nobody else. Nobody else. Yeah. Anyways, let's see what Trump was saying here.
Of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you.
So on this side are the his opposition, right? So he looked to them, and then he was saying,
You would say Pocahontas says yes.
this side was his supporters, his supporters.
2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine by far. Think of
Yeah,
that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting.
if that was the end goal, what was the debacle about 3 to 4 days back with Zelensky and Trump on the White House? I mean, what they were arguing about, what he was actually, did he even if he had a plan that what he's gonna talk to Trump or how he gonna talk to Trump? I mean, I don't know what he was doing.
lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said.
True.
My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides.
Okay.
Ever since day one of Trump's presidency, he has threatened sweeping tariffs.
That's another one, but yeah. Okay. So on that war front, right? I think we already made my point, right? That how Ukrainian public or the general public was the biggest loser of this whole war from last 3 years. So second big thing that he started talking about is the tariff. So tariff is the biggest, most challenge for US and for other countries if Trump goes ahead with this plan. Uh, so he started a tariff war mostly with China and Canada. For some reason, I don't know why, the Canadian Prime Minister he started retaliating to Trump. I think Trudeau is behaving the same way Zelensky was behaving few days back, right? So he was kind of trying to confront Trump on his face for some reason. I have no idea why. Canada, honestly, Canada is not in position to actually handle US pressure that way, right? Canada doesn't buy too many things from US. The deficit is too big. We understand that. I mean, because US is a bigger consumer, right? So they consume more from Canada, right? And Canada doesn't have too many business partners as well. So I don't know what Justin Trudeau has anything in plan in mind. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe two things can happen, right? Maybe he doesn't even have a plan. Maybe he has a plan, but that plan is little bit more politically motivated. Maybe he wants to leave office in such a mess with US that the next party will come, whoever be it, right? He's not gonna come back. Either a different leader from his party or some peer will come. So whatever be the person comes, he gets into a mess right away the day he joins, steps into the office. And this mess is a bigger one. Canada has already made bad name in Middle East and a very sour relationship with India. I'm not sure how his Canada is with China, but anyways, China doesn't count too much because any country which gets into a relationship with China kind of gets financially destroyed. We have live examples of that, right? But anyways, for Canada, US was the biggest partner, but somehow our leader, Trudeau, was able to make Trump annoyed by his actions. So, anyways, other thing is, so this is my point on Canada. So I wanted to discuss about China as well a little bit. So Trump is after China as well. I think already put tariff on Chinese goods. So China is a different story. They are powerful. Obviously, they're very powerful at this point. They are almost at the same power brand bracket as that of US. So China is not taking it in a very light mode. Um, they are going head on with US. So what's their thing? I mean, what they're saying is that they either you go with us, means either US goes with China in a trade war or in on a conventional war. They are ready for both of them, and we know they are ready, maybe, right? But yeah, China is taking it in a very different level. Let's see how that comes into picture. Mexico, again, Mexico is same thing, right? Same thing as in Canada. But somehow the leader, Mexican leader, I don't remember her name, she may be able to handle, looks like that she's maybe able to handle Trump a little bit better than Justin Trudeau. Um, but still, or maybe Mexico has more manufacturing industry than Canada. So even if US is not there, maybe they can even try to sell it to some other countries. But for Canada, we are in a deadlock position, right? Landlocked position, sorry. We are in a landlocked situation with US, right? Our border is with US, not with nobody else. And everybody else we have to reach via sea. And again, second point is we don't have any big industry to manufacturing industry to sustain even if US is not there in a situation like that. Uh, so yeah, so that's more he was talking about. What else I wanted to think? So maybe just in a very nutshell. So what is this tariff war? Just to define it, so that because again, I'm not an expert, financial expert, so I understood it in a way. So let's see if I can explain it to you as well. Um, so whenever US use some product that are not getting manufactured within US, manufactured or produced within any country. Suppose I want a car, but we don't have a factory to make a car. So I have to import it from somewhere else. So maybe that country is China, right? Or Canada, suppose, or any country in that matter. We put some taxes, we call it tariff, at the border, saying that if you are sending a car of 100,000, just an example, if you're sending a car of 100,000, we put maybe this much amount uh, on top. It's called taxes or tariff, right? Now, what Trump is saying that we will increase the tariff to how much amount? That is the point. So, suppose the other country, right? Suppose India is also consuming luxury cars from US or maybe something else, some other item. I don't know what India consumes. Not too much, I guess. Oil or what something, right? So suppose a car is a simple example. So suppose a luxury car is manufactured within US and it's been sold in India. So India also says that okay, if you want to sell a car, I mean, if you want to send a car to India, sell a car in India, so you have to pay me this much amount of taxes. Let's assume the car prices are same. 100,000 car goes from India to US and 100,000 car that comes from US to India as well. But what Trump is saying is that India charges maybe 100% taxes, and just in a number, right? So to show you that what's the difference, right? And why it is why Trump is so focused on this point on tariff. So India suppose takes 100% tariff on that price of that product. Suppose that car is 100,000. So India would say that, okay, we will put another 100,000 on taxes if you or the American company has to sell the car within the Indian market. Whereas in US, maybe the Indian company, whenever they want to sell some car into not just Indian company, the American company who has a factory in India wants to sell a manufacturer car in India and sell it to US market, US will charge that company $10,000. But now what Trump is saying, whatever tariff you charge the country B or India, Trump will charge the same percentage amount on cars or any goods that are getting imported. This is to more encourage the companies to manufacture things within US. So that's his goal, right? So let's see.
April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That's true. What you at least need, or at least need a new leader. Simple. Canadians also need a new leader.
I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Today I received an important letter from President to the negotiating table as soon as possible. His discussions with Russia and every
We already heard about this Russia thing. So, so tariff, he wants to put this tariff from April 2nd. He doesn't want to give a wrong impression that it's a April Fool's joke or something. So that's why 1st of April he's not gonna say, put the tariff, right? So many people might think that, oh yeah, it's an April Fool's gift, joke, whatever. So that's why he says that he will put the tariff on 2nd of April. Um, so I think, okay, so the good and the bad, the positive and the negative of this decision, right? It will be hard for US public now because all the products that goes from Canada, China, India or Mexico to US will be more expensive. And as a developed country, US doesn't manufacture too many things. If I look into my room, everything is made either from China or Mexico. Some things are coming from Canada as well, but those are raw materials mostly. So negative for US public is be short term, yes, things will be more expensive, very much expensive, but maybe it has a long term positive goal, a positive impact on US public. I'm talking about from the US point of view right now. So the US population, US public might be positively impacted by this um, rule now, but they will be impacted in future. So if companies decide to bring back those manufacturing things into US and set up the companies here, then US people will get job. US citizens will get job. More and more job for US. Good. If they decide no, we will still continue to manufacture the things in other countries and bring them here, so they have to pay higher taxes, higher tariff. Then government will have more money in their pocket. That money Trump can actually use to increase the buying power of the US consumer. So if they are willing to do that, so that's a kind of another approach. Short term, it would be definitely very painful for everybody. I mean, the US public, because again, everything will be so expensive for them. Um, for other countries, it's a bad thing. I don't think there's anything um, good about this for other countries, the countries that are actually exporting goods to US. Um, example, Mexico, Canada, right? Now, if the companies, US companies decide to manufacture the items within US, so the Canadian people will lose job, the Canadian economy will go down. Same with Mexico, same with India or China, right? Maybe India or China will be a little less of a story, less of an impact because they themselves has a very big market and they are far away from here, from the North America side, and they have their other consumers, but obviously they will be impacted. Their uh, their stock market, their companies' financial state, their job market will also be impacted. But it's little far from here. The most highest impacted country will be Canada and Mexico. And maybe Canada will be the most impacted country out of Canada and Mexico. Reason being, Mexico has a bigger manufacturing industry. They can actually try to sell those things to some other countries, if not US. Mexican labor is way more cheaper than Canadian labor. Again, Canada doesn't have manufacturing that actually manufactures too many things for US. It's just the raw materials that we try to push to US, either in the form of oil or gas or lumber and everything, right? Or maybe there are other things which I don't know. So Canadians will be very much impacted by this policy. So let's see how this global politics turns out to be. Um, I'll try to make some small videos again whenever I get a chance with my point of view, keeping my point of view in light as well. And again, that's what it says, right? There are no permanent friends or permanent enemies in geopolitics. So every country needs to look after itself, its own people. You cannot rely on other countries that much. You may still have, um, you still may have business interest with other countries. Other countries will have business interest on us, but that's as long as that other country has some interest of their own. That's what US is doing right now. As soon as their interest is less on Canadian goods, they are moving away from Canada. So never rely on someone blindly. That only rely on yourself, your own country, your own countrymen. I think that's all. Bye bye. I'm signing off.